Dude, coaching is tough, especially now. They don't really give coaches a whole lot of time to like find success and build a culture and like change. 2 years. If you haven't started to show that you've had like, you know, that you can have some sort of success, then you're on your way out. Coaches, dude, they don't sleep. They sleep. A lot of them sleep at the facilities. They sacrifice a ton of time with their families. Like, I could never do it.
Wherever you guys are watching this show, I would truly appreciate it if you follow or subscribe. It helps a lot with the algorithm. It helps us get bigger and better guests, and it helps us grow the team. Truly means a lot. Thank you guys for supporting, and here's the episode. All right, guys, we got Cassius Marsh here today. My man, thanks for coming on.
Appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, dude, you got quite the journey, right? NFL into sports cards into Magic the Gathering.
Yeah, I've been able to do a lot of things, man. I'm blessed.
You wear a lot of hats. When I found out you did Magic the Gathering and the NFL, I thought that was the most interesting dynamic I've ever heard.
It was you know, when people kind of initially found out about me playing, it was really interesting because the way that it all went down is I had like a $20,000 collection stolen.
Stolen?
Yeah, stolen from like a club. An ex of mine took my car, and I had my backpack in there. All the cars got hit, and my backpack had like 6-7 decks in it that were all Magic decks, and like I think it's more like 30 or 40K now in value, but yeah, so back then it was like 20K in value, and I tweeted about it, and it just blew up. Because I was basically like trying to get the thief to give it, you know, to give it back, and I was going to give him Seahawks tickets for the rest of the season.
Did you find out who did it?
No.
I wonder if they knew how much they were worth.
I honestly, the way that I thought about it, I think, you know, he probably saw like the cardboard box full of cards and might have even just thrown it in the trash. You know?
Yeah, because you would have seen it sold on eBay or something at least.
Yeah. And one of the local card, you know, it blew up. So like one of the local card shops, like somebody would have, you know, had it brought to them if they knew what they had.
That's a shame. So did you have to rebuild from zero from there?
I had a little bit of, dude, honestly, the community, and that's another really cool part about Magic the Gathering is the community is incredibly like giving and supportive of just their people. Like if you're a legit person in the community, they get behind people. And I had so much stuff get sent to the facility.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Wizards of the Coast came out and gave me a bunch of stuff to open, like sealed stuff, old stuff. And, you know, I was able to connect with a lot of people through the game.
That's dope.
So it's been a blessing. It's been a cool part of like my journey outside of, you know, football and stuff. So.
Yeah, we'll dive into football. Are you more of a collector or do you battle with the cards?
Oh, I play.
Oh, you play?
I've been playing Magic since I was 11, bro.
Damn.
It's by far the most complicated game. It's in, like the game strategy theory. It's you have to be very sharp to be good.
Yeah,
to be good. And like a lot of the best Magic players end up being poker players because, you know, the game theory and analysis and stuff is there. So, yeah, it's an incredibly good game. I've been playing since I was really young, and it's been one of those things that helped me off the field, like stay out of trouble. You know, instead of going out on Friday nights, I was at Friday Night Magic. You know,
I love that.
Playing until like 2 a.m. So,
I love that. So yeah, you pretty much got to anticipate their cards, right? That's why it's so intense.
Yeah. So it's like the knowledge of all the cards that you can see in certain situations, and like it's very timing based, you know, if like misplays are very easy to, you know, it's easy to misplay within the game. Especially when the margin for error when you're playing really good players is tiny.
Yeah, so if you make one mistake, you pretty much lost.
It could cost you the game. Yeah, it's basically like who's able to anticipate. There's like things that happen at instant speed. So like I don't know. It's hard to you know break down like.
I've seen Yu-Gi-Oh. So is it basically like you have a set amount of hit points, right? And then you play cards and you attack and try to kill the other cards.
Right. But there's also ways to like just straight up win the game, and then you can make somebody draw all of their cards, or you can do infinite loops that basically like you have infinite life, or you create infinite. Like there's one deck that basically makes the game go in limbo.
Damn.
and like nobody wins.
That sounds annoying to play against.
Yeah, there's some really like toxic people that play Magic the Gathering.
Yeah.
Like they get off on.
Do those kind of decks get banned in like tournaments though?
Yeah, they have a committee that handles all that kind of stuff. Anything that's like bad for the game, they ban in competitive play and try and keep it clean and fun for everybody. So.
Yeah, I know Yu-Gi-Oh bans even certain cards if they're too overpowered.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Have you ever won a tournament?
No, I've never gone to try and be really competitive at it. I think the competitive side of Magic is it's a grind, bro. It's like anything super competitive, you know what I mean? Like when you're playing ball, like when you're even playing football, like I love that game so much, but it's incredibly intense.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like just playing the game. So like you have to be mentally prepared. You've got to be practicing. You've got to take it seriously. And so I haven't yet taken the time to try and really compete at a high level. But
I feel that.
One day.
Yeah, I love that. When you were transitioning out of football, was that a tough process for you?
Yeah, man. It is. It's a really tough process to change your way of life. I played ball since I was a young kid. Obviously high school, but from college on is where I think, guys really lock in and take things, try and learn how to be professional. So, 12 years, almost 12, 14 years I was locked in on being a football player. Everything I did in life, my routine, how I ate, how I lived, revolved around football. So figuring out how I was going to transition into, business and, life after ball and what I wanted to do, what I was passionate about, it took time. And there's a lot of mental stuff that comes with, the NFL and that the life that we live, because it's such a short timetable that you're able to succeed in. So a lot of the things that might make you take some time and rethink, you don't really have that time available.
Absolutely.
You got to lock in and get the most out of it. So.
And you probably felt like you had more to give to the game, right?
Definitely, bro. I went and did a sprint workout yesterday. And I was just like
flying.
I was just like, yo, I am a complete freak of nature for what?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No,
like,
I feel that.
Where do I put all this? But like I've been playing some pickup basketball games, which has been fun.
Play, bro.
I'm so down,
That's
bro.
my game.
I love hooping, bro. It just the competitive side of things. Like I fiend for that. Like even just talking about like hooping for a second, like gave me chills. Yeah. Because I just. I've always been extremely competitive, so I have a ton of fun with anything, Magic or sports.
I love that. Yeah, you hear that from a lot of athletes though, because the average career is 3 years in the NFL. Mm-hmm. And when I had TJ Ward on yesterday, he played 8 years, and he's similar to you.
Great player,
he felt like he had more to give to the game another few years.
Yeah. Well, you get a little bit older, and then you get expensive, and then like teams and the league decide, this guy's too expensive,
right.
Or you know what I mean, and they're trying to build a culture, and then there's a whole.
Are you interested in coming on the Digital Social Hour podcast as a guest? Well, click the application link below in the description of this video. We are always looking for cool stories, cool entrepreneurs to talk to about business and life. Click the application link below, and here's the episode, guys.
There's a whole politics behind the NFL and all that kind of stuff. But dude, TJ was a great player and definitely had more years to play. You know, like guys who analyze the game, who know the game, like TJ was playing at a really high level. So.
Yeah, it's a shame to see that, man. Injuries and just politics.
It's tough,
and
man.
The business side of things.
Yeah,
it sounds super cutthroat. And I saw you say on the Rick Glassman show that even coaches are not to be trusted.
Dude, so I have a quick shout out to my boy Michael Bennett. He was a Pro Bowl defensive end that played for the Seattle Seahawks, and he was like one of my mentors, him and Cliff Averill. And he had this funny saying that he's a very vocal guy.
Yeah.
Very educated. Both of his parents were like professors, and so he's highly educated, so he spoke his mind. And he would walk through like the locker room and meetings, and he would say stuff like, "Coaches get you cut." and he would say it in front of the coaches. You know what I mean? And I just thought it was the craziest thing. Like, you know, I'm like, and he was super high paid. He was a great player. So, you know, we're like, you know, if anybody can get away with it, it's him. But like, he would walk into our meeting and be like, yeah, I'm not listening to no coaches today. You know,
even at practice,
it was.
Yes, but he was good enough to do that.
But he was so good because the things that he taught me and Cliff taught me and Michael Brandon Mebane and Bruce Irvin and all these guys that played with me, the things they taught me were far more valuable than anything any of the coaches taught me.
Wow.
Way more valuable. I learned how to play the game from those guys. Bobby Wagner, KJ Wright, Cam Chancellor, Earl Thomas, Richard Sherman. Those are the guys that taught me how to be a professional, that taught me how to play the game, how to study the game. The coaches, they just give you the game plan. You know what I mean? But how to execute the techniques, how to get better, how to build yourself, that stuff comes from your vets.
From the vets.
Yeah.
And TJ was even saying there's so many young teams now. Some of them don't even have vets.
Well, yeah, because ultimately coaches are they have huge egos, bro.
Coaches?
Huge egos.
Oh, I didn't know that. Wow.
Huge egos. I won't talk about any of them individually, but so
you can't even give them like critique or anything.
No, you don't get to critique coaches, man. Like no matter, and I've seen it. You know, you've had great players that know the game extraordinarily well, or very intelligent, and you know they'll try and talk to. You know, you just can't speak to coaches. They're the coach. You're the player. You do as they're told, and you need that, right? You need the chain of command, you know, in any business organization. But coaches.
That is interesting, man, because you played on 8 different teams. So for you to say that, I mean, it's not a coincidence. It's happening everywhere.
It is. It is happening everywhere, and you know, it goes even further. Is that like certain organizations are ran very well, and certain organizations are ran terribly.
Right. Is it based off money mainly, the richer ones?
I don't think so. Like Jacksonville, has one of the richest owners, and they just struggled, man.
Yeah, they've struggled for a while, honestly.
Yeah, and they're a newer franchise too, so it's you know, and like I you know, I had fun out there. It was what it was, but you know, some of these organizations, you know, some of it might have to do with money, some of it might have to do with just, you know, how they set up the infrastructure, man.
Right.
It's really down to like the GM and then all your scouts and how they process talent and how they bring them in, how you develop talent, you know, how you evaluate coaches, how you evaluate players. It's complex.
I think from a coach's point of view, it's one of the most stressful jobs in the world.
Coaching?
Yeah, just because their timetable is like not a lot of them last.
Dude, coaching is tough.
Yeah.
I do also see from that side of things like why they are the way they are, because the pressure is, especially now, they don't really give coaches a whole lot of time to like find success and build a culture and like change.
Yeah, maybe 2 years and that's it.
2 years. If you haven't started to show that you've had like, you know, that you can have some sort of success like after 2 years, then you're on your way out, you know? And I see the same thing with like young quarterbacks and young players. Like it's perform now, or it's really hard, you know, on the back end. So coaches, dude, they don't sleep. They sleep. A lot of them sleep at the facilities. They sacrifice a ton of time with their families. Like I could never do it.
Nah.
You know, maybe at a smaller level, like helping, you know, pass rushers like hone their craft, or like going to UCLA and working with those guys a little bit or whatever. But the daily grind of, you know, they're in the office like 5, 6 in the morning, you know, and they're there till like 10, 11 at night. So like that's why a lot of these guys just, you know, during the season especially, just sleep at the facilities.
Wow, I never knew that, man.
Yeah. Like Bill Belichick would set up, like his office was set up so that he could sleep there. And he did like very often.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think him not having success after Brady is kind of hurting his reputation?
This is an interesting conversation right here, because I don't know how much you know, or like if you've seen, but like I said some things about the Patriots after I had left.
Oh, no, I didn't see that.
Okay, so I said some things about the Patriots. Basically, long story short, I said that they didn't have fun in their organization, right? Now, obviously, they had fun winning games.
Right.
Ultimately, winning Super Bowls, nothing more fun, more satisfying, great. But I was just talking about like their day-to-day And coming from Seattle, where it was all about like family and like competition and like having a good time and feel good, rah, rah, rah. And then we went over there, it was like military. Like nothing you say matters, structure. You know, it was a very difficult transition. Looking back at it, I could have absolutely handled it much better. But anyways, when I left, I said something like, you know, the Patriots don't have fun. And so it's always been a thing that people want to ask me about, like my time with the Patriots and like how I see Bill Belichick and how I see that organization.
Yeah.
Bill Belichick is an amazing coach. He is incredibly smart. He knows the game better than anybody else. The way he handles his players might have not aged very well, you know, and maybe that's why Tom left a little bit early. You know, Rob retired early.
Yeah.
And that's happened. But, I mean, I don't think Brady – if Brady went to a different coach, like if it wasn't Brady Belichick, I don't think Brady is who he is today.
Really?
Right?
Because he won on the Bucs.
Yeah, well, he also won. I'm not saying Brady isn't great, right?
Yeah.
And he's found success without Bill Belichick. He's the GOAT, no, hands down. But I think that going to Bill Belichick initially coming out, the way that he demands perfection and pushes you and never like nothing is ever good.
Right.
You are just doing if you're winning and you're succeeding, that's what's expected. And I think the combination of having Tom in that situation is why they were able to get, you know, the 6 championships and go and do what they were able to do, you know.
Yeah.
It is a little bit crazy to see that Bill hasn't had very much success since Tom left, but, you know, Tom's the GOAT. Bro.
Yeah.
It's you know what I mean? I think a lot of people would struggle with a transition like that.
For sure. I think people expected that, but to this degree, I think that's where the conversation is because they're not winning many games right now.
Well, you know, he's not coaching now. I thought it was really interesting that he didn't get a job.
Oh, is he out now?
They moved on from him. The Patriots moved on. You know, I think they, you know,
I didn't know that.
You know, he passed it down to a former player, Mayo, Gerard Mayo. He was a great player, and like we'll see what he's able to do. But you know, there was a good amount of head coaching vacancies, and you know, he didn't get hired. You know,
wow.
That's
surprising.
You would think like the league would just jump. Everybody in the league would jump at the opportunity
to 6 rings.
Yeah, to hire Bill Belichick. But you never know what goes behind that. You know, he could have other plans. You know, he could want to take some time. He's been coaching nonstop for a really long time. So.
Absolutely. Did you have a favorite team during your tenure?
Yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed my time with both the Seahawks and the 49ers. I think Pittsburgh's a great organization. I liked my time with the Bears. My favorite team would probably be my second or third year with the Seattle Seahawks. Like we had such an amazing group of guys, like of human beings, just high level, all-time greats, especially on the defensive side of the ball. And I just learned so much from those guys. And I'm so grateful for that time. And I feel like in those years is when I really developed into the player, you know, who I would be. So those are the times that I truly cherish. You know, I had some good times in San Francisco with some teammates, some great teammates too. But when I got there, they were young. Like Fred Warner was a rookie when I got there, and now he's, you know, the best linebacker in the league.
That's crazy. Did you see that in him when you?
He was really good.
Okay.
But you see crazy talent all the time.
Yeah.
So it's about how you build yourself out. Build out your regimen, build out, you know, what your work ethic looks like, how you can process information, like how you can grow. Can you take coaching? Can you take adversity? Can you stay healthy?
A lot of factors.
So many things that factor into the success of a football player.
Yeah. So. Where were you on the talent scale? Did you have a lot of raw talent or did you have the work ethic or both?
I think I had both. I think what got in my way was I was emotionally immature. I let my emotions get in my way a lot, specifically with the Patriots.
So you weren't starting and you were pissed?
Well, I was starting. So here, I'll tell you just the quick thing that what happened, because people don't really know what happened when I was with the Patriots. So I went over there, totally different culture. but I was locked in, playing well, making plays for the team. I got like speared on my shoulder, and I had like a little separation. This was right before the bye week, right? So they checked me out, and they said like, oh, it's grade 2, blah, 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 separated shoulder. And, I just went about like moved forward. Well, we went on the bye week, and I went home. It was my uncle's funeral, so I really had to go home. But I got treatment every day. And I came back, and my shoulder was still bothering me. And they didn't give me an MRI initially, so I asked for one. The moment I asked for an MRI, they took me off all the starting roles. They had me doing, like, practice service.
What?
And, I was hurt, and they wouldn't let me get treatment during practice. They made me stand out there with like shoulder pads on. And so I don't know what the purpose of that was, but I really struggled with that. And this is where like I really started to mentally like kind of break a little bit.
Yeah.
And then we went to play a game in Mexico City, and we spent the week prior in practicing at Air Force Academy. And basically Coach Belichick said like, your practice habits need to improve. Now, mind you, I was always practicing like at a very high level. That was something that I was taught very early. So, but I was like, okay, you want to talk about my practice habits? Like this week I'm going crazy. Like I won't get blocked. And that week I had an amazing week of practice. I did not get blocked. I did service team. I did all my reps, like was locked in. And then the next game came, and they gave me one play in the first half. And the way they went about it was crazy, because like I was waiting, like, and you could tell the coaches like it just the energy was off. They put me in for one play and took me out.
Wow.
And I didn't. It's not like I went in there and did anything wrong. It was a regular play, and it almost seemed like a sign or like a sig. You know what I mean? Like they were trying to tell me like something. You know what I mean? And that moment just it honestly it broke me, and I reacted to it and was far too emotional, and I called a meeting with Bill and like called him out on some stuff, and that led to me, being released from the Patriots.
Wow. Just because of that.
Well, I called a meeting with Bill and basically called him out on all these things. Yeah. You don't do that. You know what I mean? Like,
you don't challenge
I'm in
him.
no position to speak to Bill Belichick about how he's choosing to coach me and coach his team. He is Bill Belichick. I'm just fourth year player, and have had success, but I'm not Tom Brady. I'm not Rob Gronkowski. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm not even a couple notches below that at that point in time. So I should have, looking back, I absolutely should have just controlled my emotions and ate it, and I probably would have ended up in a lot better position. It ended up biting me throughout the rest of my career, because any like GM or coach that came from the Patriots organization from that point forward, just stared clear of me.
And there's probably a ton of them.
Yeah, of course. I mean, yeah, you have any sort of success, like people are going to hire people that win, So I think what kept me from a higher level of success in the NFL was emotional maturity.
Damn, that's insane, because you had the talent, right? So it wasn't that.
I was definitely very talented, and I loved the work, and I loved to compete, and I always made plays. But I definitely got in my own way.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's cool to see you admit that, though, because some players that would happen, and you know what I mean?
And they make excuses.
Yeah.
Excuses are the worst thing in the world, bro. I hate excuses.
I'm not a fan of them when people make them.
It's just, they're useless. It's such a huge waste of time. You know what I mean? Anything within your control is your fault.
Facts, yeah. A lot of people have victim mentality, though.
Yeah. That's a whole nother conversation. You know what I'm saying? Sure. I don't want to get into that one. So yeah.
How many years were you at UCLA for?
4 years.
Oh, all 4.
4 years. Played 4 years. Started 4 years at UCLA.
You didn't want to drop.
Go
earlier?
Bruins. I did, and funny, my coach convinced me that he would do all these things to like help me like make more plays in my senior year. He did none of them. But I could have left my junior year and decided to stay. And my time at UCLA was great, bro. I played with some amazing players. Shout outs to Anthony Barr, Eric Kendricks. Brett Hundley was our quarterback. Kenny Clark's Pro Bowl level nose guard in the NFL. He's all pro level. Miles Jack, Jordan Zumaway. He had so many great players on that team, and I'm still really, really close friends with a lot of those guys. So
Nice.
Love my time at UCLA. And we finally hired like a really good coach over there.
Oh, yeah?
Deshaun Foster.
Oh,
Shout out
quarterback at Notre Dame?
No, Deshaun Foster was a running back for UCLA, and then he went to the league. He played like 8 years. He was like Pro Bowl level running back, great player, great guy, and they finally hired him over there. So like all of the UCLA alum are very excited. And,
Nice. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, to see former players like who was the guy at that Colorado, the big quarterback? Forget. Colorado hired him.
Hired a quarterback?
He's like a Hall of Fame quarterback, isn't he, or something?
I don't know.
I went all over the news. I forgot.
I don't know. They hired like Warren Sapp over there too. Like, it's I won't say that being a player makes you a better coach because either you can coach or you can't, but like having the experience and the respect that you gain from from your players is instant when you're, somebody who's achieved everything that they're looking to achieve.
Yeah. Definitely the respect factor for sure. What do you think about the NCAA in general? Because I see a lot of people talk negatively about it.
Dude, the NCAA is crazy. I mean, you think about players are just now getting the ability to make money. When I was in college, bro, I was broke. I had people that had to help me out, like getting me Chipotle gift cards.
Wow.
We were supposed to survive off like $1,400 a month in Westwood.
Damn.
You know what I mean? And mind you, we're all trying to invest in our bodies and like,
good.
Eat good and like live good. And we were just broke. I mean, it was when I first got to UCLA, we had to tweet in order to get new socks. Like our equipment staff was giving us like hand-me-down socks. Just crazy the life that like some college players experience, you know. And we're in college football. College football and basketball make the most money and get like the most preferential treatment. But like I can't imagine what it's like for like, smaller school, playing a sport with like less significance, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the NCAA really takes advantage of kids, man.
That's brutal.
And their likeness and everything like that. So it's
so the NIL is kind of a good thing, man.
So like the NIL thing is a little bit like I'm conflicted on it because I think it's great. I think players needed to find a way to pay these college players. Like you go look at like Reggie Bush. You know how many number 5 jerseys USC probably sold?
Tens of millions of dollars.
I mean, crazy money. Matt Leinart, I think about SC because when I grew up, SC was so dominant. That was like I loved USC and I wanted to go there initially. And you just think about all these great players and the amount of money that all these colleges are making, and players aren't touching any of that money.
Right.
Even go back like Bo Jackson, you talk about all these great players and what they've done for all these universities. Like, what do the universities do for them? They tell you that, what you've done, like what they've done to pay you is give you an education.
Yeah. Which they never use.
Which either you don't use, and whether you use it or not is irrelevant to me. Like, what's the most tuition a year? That like Harvard's like maybe $70K, something like that, 70-80K a year. So you're telling me that like these players that are bringing in millions of dollars, you paid them $80K a year, and like that's the exchange, and it's on education, so it's not even money in their pocket, so.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. So if the college makes a ton of, like when they sell tickets to a game, is the NCAA eating some of that?
NCAA, I don't know how exactly the NCAA gets like paid from each college, but the NCAA, I don't know what the money from the NCAA, where it goes.
Yeah.
I don't know like all the money that they've made over years and years of college football. Like I don't know where it goes.
Yeah, I wonder what kind of jobs people are even doing there.
I'm not familiar if it's a nonprofit or not. Like, it's just crazy, bro. And the rules that they make, like keeping players in a position where they're broke and just regular students, like it's just crazy to me. But now that NIL is here, it's changing the whole landscape. Like, UCLA right now, like we signed 0 players out of high school.
Damn.
On National Signing Day. 0.
What?
Because we have no NIL money.
Whoa.
And like if you're a UCLA alumni and you're watching this, then you need to hit me up. It's time to get some money to UCLA so we can get some of these kids.
So now it's like a pay to play almost for
it is
college.
Absolutely pay to play.
Wow.
It is absolutely pay to play. You want the top players in the country, you're going to have to pay them.
I wonder if that's why Alabama's taking a step back. Maybe they don't have as much money.
They have the money.
They have it.
Their alumni and their support system. Like Alabama's, if you talk to any other Alabama player, like they may not admit it on camera, but like those guys were being very well taken care of. Like they were good, and the way they build out like their facilities and their support for their players was incredible before, NIL. But it will, kind of even the landscape now, because. Alabama was getting away with whatever they were getting away with, but now every team can go and pay, players. So like, University of Tennessee's got a ton of money. University of Texas has a ton of money. Like, a lot of these universities have a lot of money. So things are going to even out, you know. But it's also going to be unfortunate for some of the lower level schools. They won't get like the big time players.
I do like it though, because a lot of these kids are dedicating their whole lives to this. They're hiring coaches, trainers, spending a ton of money. So for them to get paid finally, because a lot of them won't go pro also.
That is the other, that's the other great thing about the NIL thing too, is that like now players can build up their own brand and almost create like their own business and create something bigger than, just themselves as players. Like with the money that they earn as a player is one thing, but being able to create a brand and get paid and learn how to like build your own business, through your likeness. I think that's a valuable tool for a lot of these players. And, you're seeing guys transition into like, I was watching on the way over here, this kid named Max Brown. He's now doing podcasting and like has his own like, little show that he does about football and evaluating quarterbacks. But like he was #1 player in the country, went to SC, 5-star, like supposed to be like the next coming. And dude, he didn't even splash in the league.
Damn.
And but he was able to transition
into podcasting,
and find a new way to
monetize.
Yeah, to monetize and just a new passion, we're all looking for purpose. And I think football players especially, like we thrive for we want structure.
Absolutely.
We want structure. We want to work towards something. We're goal oriented. We're competitive. And I think that's why a lot of football players athletes in general, but football players especially translate very well in the business world.
I love that. Cassius, it's been fun, man. Anything you want to promote or close off with?
Yeah, man. Appreciate you having me on. I it was awesome. Great conversation. But if you are into trading cards and collectibles, check out cashcardsunlimited.com. We sell Pokemon, Magic the Gathering, sports cards, everything collectible you can think of. And check us out on TikTok, social medias, everything like that. Cash Cards Unlimited.
We'll link it in the video. Thanks for coming on, man.
Thanks, brother.
Thanks for watching as always, guys. See you tomorrow.